Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today is Sunday, and we've got a very golden show for you today, folks. That's right. Today we've got actually a very special unboxing to take care of today, and I'm very, very excited to do this because this is actually quite a massive unboxing. And now we haven't done too many unboxings on the show lately. That used to really be kind of our go-to thing, right, when we had first kicked off the channel, but really it's been quite a while since we've done an actual unboxing, and so I'm very excited to actually get into that nostalgic feel and kind of do a little bit of a unboxing and kind of, because I think this is a very special item. Or actually it's a group of items that we're actually picking up, but there's one item in here in particular that fits with our golden theme, which I'm very, very excited to take a look at. And so before we get into this massive unboxing of very, very nice Engelhard stuff, we have to address another topic that I wanted to address, which was brought up by one of our community members, World Money Wins. And so World Money Wins had actually just picked up a very, very nice 20-gram golden ingot, and that kind of also fits in line with our theme today, which is kind of a golden theme. Now, we don't talk a lot about gold. We don't do a lot of unboxings, and we don't talk a lot about gold too much here on the SPS channel, and so I thought, let's kind of stick to that golden theme here. And before we get into this gold-related unboxing, let's go ahead and talk about the topic that World Money Wins had brought up. So he had actually tagged me in his latest video, which was related to a 20-gram gold bar which he had picked up, which is a very unique bar. And actually a lot of people in the comments of that YouTube video were also explaining how they felt that it was very unique as well, and it was like something that they had never seen before. And so he had tagged me and sent to Georgie, another community member, just to see if we had seen this item before, if we knew anything about it. And so I'm glad he had tagged me, because it actually is something that was a little bit on my radar already, and so I knew a little bit about this item in particular. So because of that, I was able to kind of respond to him and provide him with a little bit of information, at least what I knew, the limited information that I had regarding the God of Wealth ingot, and that's exactly the item that it was. Now, he has actually a 20-gram variety of that bar, which is a very, very unique bar, but I actually happen to have also a 5-gram variation of that bar just by chance, right? And it's just kind of a one-off item that I have. I sometimes like to collect one-off items, and so that's another kind of thing that I wanted to sort of discuss, and how it also relates to our silverbarstacker.com website, right? We have a very, very expansive store when it comes down to vintage silver and gold, and especially silver. I mean, we specialize specifically in silver, and so while we are talking about gold today, that's really kind of a rare circumstance. We don't generally talk about gold, and in fact, over the past year or so, we've kind of been shying away from gold. Not that we are ever really very much into gold, but we've kind of made a concerted effort to sort of shy away from gold and focus more heavily on specialization of silver, right? Because we are Silver Bar Stacker after all, right? And so multiple people, including my business partners as well as my suppliers, have all kind of mentioned to me that you're the Silver Bar Stacker, so why you're not the Gold Bar Stacker, you're not the Platinum Bar Stacker, you're not the Palladium Bar Stacker, you're not the Copper Bar Stacker. And so as a result, we kind of made a sort of business mindset and a personal mindset to sort of go even heavier. Not that we weren't heavy enough on the silver, but go even heavier on the silver. So that's kind of just an underlying thing that an adaptation thing that I guess you could say as it relates to kind of the stacking strategy, as that relates to it personally as well as the business, right? And so that's just something that I kind of wanted to mention. We're talking about unique items. We're talking about this God of Wealth ingot that World Money Wins actually has a 20-gram version of. And now I mentioned I have a 5-gram version, and so he mentioned, hey, I'd like to see that. Have you shown that on your channel before? I'm like, no, I haven't actually. Since I got it, and since we kind of haven't been doing unboxing videos in quite some time now, even though that used to be kind of our thing. now we don't do that much anymore, and so this is just something that kind of slipped by the cracks that I haven't had an opportunity to show yet. And so I feel like this is a good opportunity to show it, because World Money Wins just showed a nice 20 gram version of that. And so if you want to see that 4 times larger version of this bar in the same type of packaging, go head over to his channel, and you might be able to, you will definitely be able to check it out up close and personal. And it's a very reflective bar, it's a very beautiful bar, and it's a very unique bar. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you the smaller version of that, which is going to be not as cool, right? So I'm kind of showing you after he's already shown you a bigger bar, I'm going to go ahead and show you the exact same bar, but in a smaller version, which is going to be, I guess, in many people's eyes, not as cool. But regardless, we are here, and it is probably something that many others do not have and will not be able to show you. So hey, why not show this to you? So I had a tough time actually getting this out of the original packaging, and I almost broke the packaging, because I forgot that when I purchased this and I had originally opened, I forgot that instead of putting this thing like that, you have to twist it. It's a twisty, you know what I mean? So because it's a twisty, I almost cracked it, and I've done that before on other original packaging before, and it's very devastating when you do something like that. When you're somebody who's collecting not for metal weight and you're collecting for the history, then it's very devastating to you when you mess up original packaging or something like that. It's a very OCD type of thing. So this packaging in of itself is extremely cool. Like it's customized to hold that ingot in there. So that in and of itself is very cool. The fact that it comes with the original packaging, very cool. And this COA card, also very cool, because not only is this bar serialized, but the serial number is matching here on the COA card. So this right here is a very cool item. I don't know how rare it is. I don't know what the mintage is exactly. I can tell you there's definitely more than 7,946 of them. So maybe there's 10,000 of these. Maybe there's even more than that. But regardless, we've got 7,946, which is, not a low serial number if there's 10,000 of them out there. But if it's 100,000 of them out there, then yeah, it's a low serial number. But then if it's 100,000 of them out there, then it's not as rare. So we don't know. I don't know. I don't personally know how many of the Royal Mint minted these. But this here is produced by the Royal Mint. You see that stamp right there? Certified assayer. And right here it says Royal Mint United Kingdom, made exclusively for Hang Seng Bank Limited, Hong Kong. Now I remember when World Money Wins had first posted the video of the 20 gram, it's a very unique bar, and so all the writing is in Chinese and stuff, and so it was funny. I was kind of reading the comments. I recognized this bar immediately. I was like, oh, that's very cool that you have this. And so I was just kind of reading through the comments. I noticed a comment by by Salvate Metal. Salvate Metal made a comment. He said, that's a very unique looking bar. It's a very unique shaped bar, and honestly, the thickness of that bar sort of concerns me. And because it's a unique looking bar, it's a uniquely shaped bar, and it's a 20 gram ingot, which is also kind of an odd weight bar as well. And so when Salvate Metal, who has been in this game for a long time, and he has seen many variations of unique gold. Let me just say that. I don't know that personally, but I can just tell you that I can probably speculate that he has definitely seen many unique, vastly more than the average person has seen many unique types of gold, right? So because of that, it was very alarming to me. I was like, oh my gosh. He thinks it might be it could be potentially fake, and he was like, hey, make sure you test that, right? Make sure you've gotten that tested. And so World Money Wins had picked up this item. Not only was he able to in a later short, he actually verified the thing on his precious metals, verified that it was legitimate gold. But actually, it's coming in here in the original COA card, and so that's an added layer of both value, coolness, and security, because you're getting it with the matching COA card with the serial number on the bar. And so that is a lot of work for a counterfeiter to counterfeit a bar such like that, right? So it is that in and of itself is a reassurance. And then finally, the fact that they sourced the item from a reputable supplier. So where World Money Wins won that, it was a very reputable auction house, and in that auction house in particular, Mineral Exchange, they have XRF machines where they're able to literally do more than test for purity, right? So everything that you can win on those auctions are very, that's one of our reputable suppliers, just as an example, right? So, and you know, one of the unboxing we're going to do today, that's one of our reputable suppliers, right? So it's always important to vet the source. It's always important to test the purity, of course, as well, right? You need to do a multi-layer analysis when you are verifying things, and especially when it comes to highly collectible stuff, it's very important to do your research. You cannot just rely on simply one opinion. A lot of people, for example, will go on to all Engelhard. Oops, I did the same thing that World Money Wins did. I dropped the ingot. So a lot of people will do the same thing that sorry, not the same thing. A lot of people will do they might go like on all Engelhard, for example, and they'll treat that like, you know, it's the Bible or something. Well, that should be treated as a reference, right? They have done a vast amount of work through all of the experiential knowledge that they have as a team. They have been able to kind of catalog through serial numbers that have been submitted to them and continue to be submitted to them, and new items that continue to be submitted. And they do their best as a non-profit. They're not making any money off of it. They do their best to keep us updated. And so you cannot simply just rely on that, you know, because there are certain items, for example, that I have that I'm very, very obsessive about, that I collect, that are representative on all Engelhard, just generally speaking, and where they provide mintage information, and they might provide some known serial numbers, right? Well, that's not an indicative range of all the serial numbers necessarily, because I definitely have some bars that fall outside of the serial numbers, because I have such a large amount of those bars, and since they only have maybe 10 or 15 serial numbers listed there, you know, sometimes it's very possible that newly discovered serials that have not been submitted to them, right? They're not they don't have every example that runs through their door, but they have very, very many, right? So that's just one thing to think about, is that you also, when you're buying anything, you have to vet the source. You have to also do your research a little bit further too. You cannot trust everything 100%. I can say, for example, the mintages, once you fall especially outside of the Engelhard stuff, then it's hard to, you know, fully trust the mintages. And even with the Engelhard stuff itself, you cannot treat them all, you know. You gotta think about what you see generally on the market happening, right? Some of these mintages might be much lower, but you see them pop up on the market all the time, right? And you can verify that, and they're always coming from a reputable source, so then the mintages must be off. And sometimes those mintages, I've seen them adjust. For example, the 10-ounce Scotiabank Engelhard bar, that used to be a 250 minted bar, according to all Engelhard, for a very long time. And then, actually, what happened is, because they discovered newer serial numbers, and the serial number range kind of expanded a little bit, they then extrapolated that, you know, actually, there's probably closer to 500 of these out there. Right? It's still a tier 1 bar either way, but that's an example of something that I've personally seen where the mintage information changes, and that's not necessarily because it's inaccurate. It's because they get new information, and everything is kind of an estimate and guesstimate based off of the information that they've experienced, right? And so then you use that as a starting point, and then based off of your experience of what you've seen, you know, sometimes, you know, I've seen, you know, a 2000 minted bar, which, you know, seems very, very rare. Yeah, that's a tier 2 bar. Well, I see it pop up very frequently. And then on the flip side, there'll be like a 3000 minted bar, which also very, very rare, but I never, ever, 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 ever see that. And when I see it, people like go crazy over it, right? And then, so I don't know. I just don't know what to say about that, right? And I've also one time purchased a bar that was mintage very, very high, like in the hundreds of thousands, and it was around the same price as the bar that I got that was 2000 minted. So like, and you see both of those pop up very, very frequently. So it's kind of like you have to use your experiential knowledge on top of using that as a starting point, and then you can sort of extrapolate and formulate your own opinion. You should not just trust one source, I guess, is the point that I was trying to make initially, right? So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this, because we're already 13 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to any of the other stuff that I wanted to show. So here you got a beautiful reflective bar, just as World Money Wins' bar was, and it's a very, very thick chunker. This reminds me of like the Geiger 5-gram bars. 5-gram Geiger silver bars look almost like, not look like this, but they have a very similar feel to this, so very similar aura. You got a nice high relief there around the edge of the bar as well, which is super freaking cool. Now let me go ahead and show you what a Geiger 5-gram bar looks like, because I was just talking about that. So might as well show you, because I got them right here. So this is like a set of discontinued Geiger bars. Now the bars come in a square shape and they have serial numbers on the back. So this is what they used to look like. They would be these rectangular shaped bars, and this is actually crazy because it's still a huge sheet of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 bars. 15 5-gram bars. Pretty cool. Now this is a very brittle original packaging, so it breaks very, very easily. So this is the reason I'm showing you this is because this is kind of reminding me. They're both 5 grams. One is gold and one is silver. And look how thick that is. So this is why Salivate Metal, I can tell you, was finding that, hey, the thickness concerns me, because look at this. Gold and silver should not be equally thick, but actually in reality the face is smaller. So it's very hard to tell that there's a slight thickness difference in the sense that this is slightly thicker and this face is slightly smaller. And so because of that, that's why Salivate Metal should not be as concerned. Now we've also both tested our bars on the precious metals verifiers. We both bought from very reputable sources. We've also both got the bars in the original seal. Now, topic I wanted to also bring up. Now, I told you this is from the Royal Canadian Mint. Now, these bars, actually, this exact bar that was produced, this gold bar that was produced for Hansang Bank, well, this was also a bar that, there was a variation of this bar that was produced by Engelhard. Now, that is, for me, that is a grail bar. I would love to have such a bar, but, you know, according to all Engelhard, I mean, this might be information that is a little bit outdated, but according to them, that's a bar that's not even that uncommon. Like it's a bar that, you know, pops up, you know, from time to time, and you should be able to acquire it pretty easily. And they say that it's not a very rare, like it's not that rare of a bar. As far as like rare bars, it's not that rare of a bar. And I thought to myself, that's crazy. But that's another thing where it's kind of like take everything with a grain of salt, because it's kind of like, I'm not sure. I rarely see this bar, let alone in an Engelhard variation. I mean, I'd be all over that if I could get it at a nice price. So anyways, what I want to say is that there's an Engelhard variation of this bar where it will say Engelhard actually on the bar itself, right? So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So this is the reason I even picked this up. This is a one-off piece, right? Now, when you go onto the silverbarstacker.com website, you'll find that there are actually quite a bit of cool items in the SPS exclusive section. And you know, when I first started off the website and I was kind of getting everything populated, the store populated with everything and organized and structured and everything like that, the SPS exclusive section was quite I wouldn't say unorganized, but it was just kind of a smorgasbord, for lack of better words. And you know, the entire website in general was a bit of a smorgasbord, I would say. And I would say that was not a good thing, right? Sometimes maybe people want to have just be in la la land all the time, but for me it was just a little bit too unstructured. Maybe it still might be a little bit, but I'm working on slowly but surely over time structuring it a little bit more nicely. So over time you'll see that the website will improve and it will get much more easy to navigate, because we'll structure everything in a very easy to understand way. Now, something like this is not something like, I don't collect things generally by the Royal Mint, right? That's not really in line with our product line at all, right? We specialize in Engelhard stuff. We specialize in Johnson Matthey stuff. We have some generic Volcambi stuff, but that's something that, quite frankly, we're trying to purge through of and not restock, right? So like these Volcambi armillary coins, for example, it's a very unique item. It's something that we source from AppMex, actually, quite a few of them, and quite frankly, it's something that was not selling too much, but we actually had a buyer who actually has been buying quite a few of this. One of our gold, funnily enough, it's our gold show. One of our gold tier subscribers on the website has actually been buying quite a few of these. So he's been liking these quite a bit. And the thing is that we don't generally specialize in Volcambi stuff. I mean, we have a lot of Volcambi stuff because it's good to have items that are reasonably priced, that are easily accessible, that people, people like generics, right? Most people like to stack generics for cheap, right? So it's good to have some cheap things available. So that's why we like to have some Volcambi stuff available. But quite frankly, over time, we've realized that we really just want to be specializing in vintage. If people want to get, the more generic stuff, there's other places where they can get that generic stuff. And so, the Geiger stuff, which, it's not generic, it's more of a modern collectible, but the Geiger stuff, the Volcambi stuff, that's kind of the type of stuff we're sort of trying to move away from. And so that's actually the type of stuff that are currently on the SPS website. If you're trying to get a deal on something, those are the things that are absolutely the most competitively priced, because we really are trying to move in a direction of less gold, less generic stuff, and more silver and more vintage stuff, right? We will really want to focus on the vintage silver because we are, again, after all, silver bar stacker, right? And so that's something we're making a concerted effort of doing. And so because of that, everybody has different stacking strategies, right? And so a lot of people right now might be going very, very heavy on gold and maybe be playing gold to silver ratios, or consolidating their stack one way or the other, or taking care of maybe they're wanting to consolidate their stack in a way that they want to have more gold for whatever reason. So a lot of people have different stacking strategies. Our stacking strategy just so happens to be that we're going heavier on silver and lighter on gold, and the result of that is that individuals have been getting killer deals on gold. We've been selling through some of our gold items very, very fast. Like these items, we're down to our last one. So the last item that we have available for this item is on our website right now, and once that's sold, we're not going to be restocking it, right? Because we're not really, we bought this because it's kind of a unique item. This is kind of like a legal tender coin. It's a 1 ounce gold coin broken down into 4 separate 1/4 ounce coins, and each 1/4 ounce ring is actually a $25 legal tender coin in the Cook Islands, right? It's a 2015 limited edition gold fractional coin. It's a 1 ounce coin that can be broken down into 4 1/4 ounce rings, aka coins. Crazy. It's a very, very unique piece, honestly. So this right here is something that one of our customers, our gold tier subscribers, is very, very much a fan of, and so maybe he'll grab this last one. Honestly, every month he uses his 15% off discount and gets a killer deal on things, and one of those things that he gets a deal on that is included in those things is these nice armillary coins. So maybe he'll grab this last one, or maybe somebody will beat him to it. And then this is a type of item that we would feature in our SPS exclusive section because, quite frankly, it's a very unique piece, right? But not anymore. Once this one sells, then we won't. But like maybe something like this. Actually this is very awesome. Very awesome. This is a 5 ounce gold Engelhard bar. Crazy, right? So something like that would definitely be featured in the SPS exclusives section. It's not right now. I want to keep this right now, but I just thought I would show that. It's a very nice little loaf bar, or I guess I should say a big loaf bar. If we want to talk about little, right here we've got a nice little fractional Johnson Matthey gold wafer bar. What's cool about this is that it's actually mounted onto a 14 karat gold bezel, so you could actually wear this as a little necklace or something if you really wanted to. So I found this to be very cool, and the reason I picked this up was one of the reasons I picked this up was because it was mounted on a bezel. I think that keeping an eye out for items like this, if you can get them at a reasonable price, are very cool. But even better than that, I would like to start moving in a direction of being able to offer some types of things like this. Now, I don't have expertise in making things like this, but I do have a close friend of mine who is actually into that type of stuff, and so that is one of the types of things that I would like to in the future kind of work towards being able to provide to my customers in the SPS exclusive section as well, right? I just think that would be cool to be able to have unique items that you could be able to buy, and that's kind of the purpose of the SPS exclusive section. And so when I was talking about how initially when I started the website, everything was kind of a smorgasbord, right? Especially the SPS exclusive section, it was, because it was very unstructured, and now I have kind of parameters around what goes into the SPS exclusive section, and I've talked about that before. I talked about it, I think, either on my last video or the video before, but essentially what the SPS exclusive section is supposed to be featuring. It's supposed to be things that are very, very unique. So what does unique mean? Something that is unique would be something that's in the original factory seal. That's freaking unique. Something that is sequential serial numbers. Like if you have a set of 2 bars that are sequential serial numbers, that's pretty cool. That would be unique. If you have a set of all the prospector years, right? 1982, 1983, 1984, 1984, 1985, 1986, 1987, all 7 of the Engelhard prospector rounds, every single date, a full set of prospectors. That would be in the SPS exclusive section, and it is, and it always will be. That's a set of rounds that you will always be able to get on the Silver Bar Stacker website, because we specialize in Engelhard. We always have prospectors available. We always actually have every like common type of Engelhard bar that you can think of. We always have every single type available, right? So if you ever are looking for something in particular and you don't see it on the website, you could even message us, and is it just a good chance we haven't had a chance to get it up on the website yet, right? And it will be soon. So outside of extremely rare bars, and especially the poured stuff, we don't really specialize too much in the poured stuff, like these types of things. If we have poured stuff, a lot of times it'll just be kind of one-off stuff, but we really like to have the more economically and reasonably priced pressed stuff. Some of the pressed stuff is not reasonably priced. Some of the mintages are extremely low on the pressed Engelhard and Johnson Matthey stuff, but we still really love the pressed 1 ounce bars, 5 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars, and so we basically always have most of the varieties of the Johnson Matthey Engelhard bars available. And the USVI stuff, we like that stuff as well. Sunshine Mining, Swiss of America, Draper Mint, a lot of these, there's just a subset of refiners that we really like, especially the more well-known ones. We kind of shy away from the more obscure ones. A lot of collectors like the very obscure refiners that are just nobody knows about, and there's a lot of those. But for us, we like to have the more recognizable things because it's easier to verify that stuff, and we like to buy them from sources that we can kind of trust and verify from. And we like to, if we can, we like to buy out collections too. Buying out collections is a great way to get a lot of unique items, and since that's how we've sourced a lot of our unique items as well, we'll have collectors, who have just kind of sold off their entire collections, and we will kind of make an offer on the whole thing and buy everything, and really get a lot of unique items that you would never be able to acquire any other way. So that just is a little bit about the SPS exclusive section. You have these types of unique sorts of sets that have been curated by SPS, and then also just kind of one-of-a-kind items, right? So something like this, right, where we just have like a unique bar, and then we kind of customize it a little bit. Maybe we have like antiqued items like bars and rounds, or colorized bars and rounds, or we over here we've got these right here actually gold plated rounds. So these are actually not, if you actually look at them close, they look gold, right? The lighting is really messed up here right now, but these are actually gold, right? But and that's actually 24 karat gold actually wrapped around it. But what it is that these are just plated. They're just plated, and I know that it's not like I bought them thinking they were gold prospectors or something. I knew that they were plated. I won them actually on an auction, and I just found that I got a very reasonable price, because I would have paid the same price, honestly, quite frankly, for unplated rounds. So for me, I was just like, wow, that's quite an awesome steal. I was only able to get 2 sets. But you see here, these are actually 999 fine silver. So these are actual authentic Engelhard rounds, and they've been plated in 24 karat gold. And so that's a very cheap thing that you can do. This is a very thin layer of 24 karat gold. So it's the gold value on here is negligible to nothing, right? It's just as if you were putting freaking gold flakes or something, like they have gold flakes in Goldschlager, right? So it's negligible amount of gold, but it looks very cool, right? It looks very sleek. So I think I don't know if I'm going to be going out and plating a bunch of vintage silver, but I just think that this is very cool. And I think, another item that I was able to pick up that's also kind of, this one is sort of gilded in gold, is, I thought this was kind of cool, is where they actually gilded the prospector itself. And on the reverse, they gilded the eagle itself in gold. And I really like this round quite a bit, as opposed to one that's sort of just been dipped in gold. But these things right here are just very unique. Now these are items I bought and I paid a premium for. On the other hand, if I was to be able to create items, maybe a lot of people like to hand pour their stuff, maybe we could just create unique custom items. So things like that might also in the future maybe I might myself not even create them, but I might collaborate with other individuals, and you might find that we have other community members or other artists or whatever. We might collaborate with other individuals and have those type of collaborative efforts and unique pieces also featured in our SPS exclusive section. For example, Don't Ask, right? Don't Ask, he hand pours his own stuff, and there's a couple of his items that we have that are exclusive to us, and there's others that I think you could probably they might either still be available or you might just be able to ask him for some, right? But that's a nice partnership with one of our good friends, and we like to feature his items, and we do feature those items in our SPS exclusive section. So when you're browsing the SPS exclusive section, you'll find things like this, right? But you also find things like his hand poured bars. And then once I'm ready to let this bad boy go, you'll find this in the SPS exclusive section as well. I mean, I don't envision us to ever be holding this as a permanent product on our website, right? You're always going to be able to get any of the E-logo Engelhard bars on our website, or any of the Prospector ears on our website, or hell, even a full fractional set you'll always be able to get on our website, because we specialize in the Engelhard stuff. But since we don't specialize in Royal Mint stuff, we're not always going to have these available, but when they're available, they will be in the SPS exclusive section. So that's kind of an indication of what you can expect, right? Some individuals, when they're buying or browsing, they just want to look at, they don't know what they want to look at, and so the SPS exclusive section will be nice for them because they could just go in there and just wander around and be like, wow, this is a bunch of unique stuff, right? The premiums are generally a little bit higher on that stuff because it's curated, it's hand curated, but it's very fun to kind of just walk around and browse stuff, and sometimes you might even just want to pull the trigger, because some of these sets are very, very difficult and annoying to create. Like the fractional prospectors are very, very annoying to put together. You have to buy them one at a time, and it's just very annoying to be able to create those to create that set. So I like to have sets like that available at all times so that people can always be able to get them. And we also have so in addition to I'm talking about our gold tier subscriber who's been kind of cleaning us out on our armillary coins. Well, every time that they make a purchase, they get 15% off, right? Because they're a gold tier subscriber. That's the main benefit of being a gold tier subscriber. You get 15% off of everything on the website. If you're a silver tier customer, you get 10% off of everything on the website. If you're a copper tier subscriber, you get 5% off of everything on the website. Twice a month, every month, as long as you keep paying your fees. And then there's also additional perks, like you get $15 off a mystery box if you're a gold tier subscriber, $10 off if you're a silver tier subscriber, or $5 off any of our mystery boxes if you're a copper tier subscriber. Those are also monthly benefits that you get. So if those benefits work in your favor, like our gold tier subscriber that we have, one of them, he is very, very a savvy buyer, right? He shops our deals, he shops our sales. He gets his 15% off on top of a lot of our items might be a little bit on the higher end of the premium. I mean, everything starts kind of if you're buying silver, everything kind of starts around $30 to $35, right? Like I think the cheapest item that we have right now, for example, is like $32.50 maybe for the cheapest ounce of silver, which is kind of our premium junk bin, which is you get basically an ounce of random design bullion, right? 999 bullion. So that's kind of the cheapest item. So like that's still kind of high premium, right? If you think about the price of silver, it's like $23-24. So the SPS website is more collectible vintage stuff, and so if you're kind of looking to stack weight, it's not the right place to be kind of browsing, because we have kind of hand curated, hand selected, and more specialized collectible stuff, right? And so the cheapest stuff, like today I just shipped out a premium junk order. The premium junk listing is our cheapest bullion listing right now. So a customer ordered 2 units, so I shipped out that order, and it's just kind of random design, right? So I tossed them a couple backdated maples, right? So they got a couple maples from like the 80s and 90s. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, they don't if they're watching now, I've just kind of ruined it. They know what they're getting, but basically like that's what it is. It's kind of like you don't know what you're gonna get. He could have gotten 2 American Silver Eagles. He could have gotten 2 Krugerrands. He could have gotten 2 Millennium Falcon Star Wars rounds. Like he could have gotten anything that wasn't vintage. That's what premium junk is. Premium junk is like you're gonna get something that's not what we classify as vintage. For us, vintage is vintage private refiner stuff by like Engelhard, JM, USV, any of the refiners that we specialize in. That's what you're gonna get in our vintage bin, which is a little bit more expensive. Right now, the vintage bin I think is either $35 or $37.50, something like that. So it's an extra $5 per ounce that you're having to pay if you want some sort of vintage piece like a Prospector round or an Engelhard bar or a USVI chunky stacker or whatever, right? That's the random design bin where you get some vintage. And then the more cost-effective item for our website is going to be the premium junk bin. Now the premium junk bin, I'm not going to be giving you you're not going to end up with like a generic Buffalo or something, or like some some sunshine minting bar or something like that that you can get at a couple dollars above spot anywhere else, right? I don't generally carry any sort of generic stuff like that. Even like the maples, right? You might be able to get maples right now for like $28-30, right? Honestly, like at your local coin shop, and that's a very awesome price, honestly, because I remember those being a lot higher, right? And that will probably be for they'll probably just have like a fresh tube of maples and they'll just give you whatever, like a 22 or 23 maple or something like that, and you get a pretty good price on it. Now, I generally don't have too many maples on hand, but when I do have them, I'll generally have older backdated ones because I like the older vintage stuff, right? So for me, I like, I'll have factory sealed maples maybe. Sometimes, occasionally, I might have those on hand. Occasionally, I might have some older, toned up maples or something, but I generally won't have like tubes and tubes of fresh maples. So the premium junk bin, you might get a maple, you might get an eagle. It's probably not it may or may not be in great condition, but it'll probably be like an older one, or maybe there might be something unique about it, like it's maybe a 2000 dated, or it's in the original factory seal. Something about it might be a little bit cooler than just a generic eagle that you get, or it might just be something a little bit more premium, maybe some limited edition modern collectible type of thing, right? I look at that personally at SPS. I look at that stuff as not as nice as vintage. For me, a lot of people look at vintage as garbage. They look at that as that's the cheap stuff. I've gone to coin shops where they'll give me the vintage bars and rounds for actually cheaper than the maples and stuff, because they value that higher, right? And most people do actually. Right now, vintage is not really seen as a very valuable thing, so that's a good opportunity to be buying it, right? If you can get it for a good price, right? Some of the items that have kind of caught on are going to be more expensive, right? So that's just a consideration. Now, for example, this right here. This is cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool that it's in a bezel, but the main reason I actually bought this was not because it was in the bezel. The main reason I bought this was actually because it's an odd weight bar. It looks like a 1 gram bar, but it's actually a 2.5 gram bar. Now, a 2.5 gram Johnson Matthey bars are not very common. It's very, very difficult to find those. I've not seen those pop up very often. Now, I don't know mintage information on that type of stuff. Gold is not addressed at all for JM Gold on all Engelhard. So a lot of these types of things, you're on your own to try to figure out what's going on when it comes down to that. So when it comes down to this bar, the main reason I bought it actually was due to that weight, which you still cannot see because there we go, 2.5 grams. I don't have too many of the 2.5 gram wafers, right? The 1 gram wafers I see pretty commonly. I don't even think I've got any 5 grammers right now available, but the 2.5 grams are very, very uncommon. Rarely see those available. So that's the reason why I wanted to pick this up. And this is the type of thing that would definitely be featured in the SPS exclusive section as well. I would say, hey, you're getting this thing in the 14 karat gold bezel. You're getting this exact same serial number, and it's your one-of-a-kind item. So this SPS exclusive section, I want to have kind of one-of-a-kind items, curated sets, things like sequential serials, original packaging, and that type of stuff. So it's very, very structured. You kind of know what to expect, but you also have no idea what to expect. That's the beauty of it. On the flip side, anything outside of the SPS exclusive section will be highly, highly structured. Okay? If you want a prospector round, well, okay, eventually in the future, this is what I envision everything to look like. Oh, you want a prospector round? Well, what year do you want? Okay. What size do you want if you're looking for the 85s? Do you want a 1 ounce? Do you want a half ounce? Do you want a quarter ounce? Do you want a 10th ounce? Right? Do you want one of those 1 gram novelty generic fractional rounds? Right? Do you want one that's gilded in gold? Do you want one that's plated in gold? Do you want one that is 1985 or 1986? Do you want one with an eagle reverse, or do you want one with an E logo reverse? Do you want the full set of prospectors? Do you want one of the proof prospectors that are very, very low mintage? How about instead of a proof prospector, you go for the Canadian proof prospector, right? So, and then maybe in the future, we will hand pour our own giant prospector rounds or something, and that will be in the SPS exclusive section and part of the prospector grouping, right? So I want everything to be very, very accessible for like-minded collectors. I'm very much into collecting this type of stuff. I know there may not be a lot of collectors right now out there, but I do know that there's a good handful of collectors out there that are like-minded, that appreciate the Engelhard and the JM and the USVI and the Sunshine Mining and the Draper Mint and the Bunker Hill and all that kind of stuff, right? I know that there's like-minded collectors out there, and I know that there's not a lot of places for us collectors to go, right? A lot of these stores that we go to, they don't appreciate this stuff for what it's worth. So it's kind of like a game of chicken where we're trying to like not show our cards, but we're trying to like figure out, how can we get all this stuff from them? They don't even know what the heck it is, right? So how the heck are you supposed to work with them? You just kind of have to. It's just a weird situation, right? It's much better if you kind of are able to buy from somebody who's able to answer a little bit of questions. Maybe they know a little bit, they can kind of guide you a little bit, especially if you're new. And even if you're advanced, it's still nice to be able to, communicate to somebody and be able to talk to somebody about something and to be able to get accurate information about something, at least the most accurate you can find, right? Now, as an example, I was able to find a really, really awesome bar, honestly, from a very, very big store, right? And so that was very cool. I was able to actually pick it up, and it was very interesting. This is the bar right here, actually. It's a gold standard bar. Now, a lot of people know about the gold standard bar. In fact, I just had an auction last Sunday where I auctioned off a 1 ounce gold standard bar, and that's a 5,000 minted bar actually, and it was still in the original factory seal. And those bars, I've sold them for $200 easy. I've sold multiple of them to people for $200 each. It's a low mintage bar according to allengelhard.com. They pop up from time to time, but when they sell for hundreds of dollars for a 1 ounce bar. So they sell for quite a high premium for the 1 ounce variation, and those do pop up from time to time on the market. Okay. What's crazy is on last week's auction, actually, on the Whatnot auction, this happens every single week, is that we have crazy deals that happen. Somebody ended up with a factory sealed gold standard bar, which is our valuation of that was a $225 value. Somebody got it for $25. Okay, but just because that's just the nature of the beast of the mystery game, that was the top prize actually. And so that was definitely the biggest win of last week's auction. Somebody got a gold standard bar for $25. That's something I sell on my website for $225, and I'm never going to reduce it probably ever below $200, because quite frankly we're not able to source those for cheaper than that, so we would never sell them for cheaper than that, honestly. So that was crazy. It was just crazy to me that happened. But I was also very happy because I saw that JM Bullion had 100 ounce gold standard bar. Now the 100 ounce Engelhard gold standard bars, these are produced by Engelhard, by the way, as you can see here, 100 ounce Engelhard Strug gold standard silver bar. It's an Engelhard bar that was produced for gold standard, right? And as you can see, this one's got a serial number on it. The 1 ounce bars, those come in two variations. There's a mirror back and there's a frosted back. Okay, so on those bars, there's no serial numbers on them. There's also 10 ounce bars, gold standard, mirror back. There's two variations of those. One has a serial number, one doesn't have a serial number. So very, very confusing. As a collector, there's a lot of things to kind of keep straight, but it is what it is. Now on the 100 ounce gold standard bars, this one that you see here is the rarer of the two. This is actually what you're seeing pictured here is actually a series 1 bar. Okay, now there you see an issue, right? There's an issue right there, because JM Bullion is marketing this as a 100 ounce Engelhard Strug gold standard silver bar series 2. What did I just say though? I said this is a series 1 bar. There's two different 100 ounce gold standard bars produced by Engelhard. One is a series 1, which looks like this, and another is a series 2, which is also machined finish, but it's not as refined of a edges like that. So it's kind of it's a little bit more of a rustic looking bar, and it's got kind of like, if I recall correctly, it's kind of got like a dotted border and stuff like that. So it looks very, very much different, right? This is a little bit more of a sleek looking bar. Now the Series 1 bar, which looks like this machine finished bar, this is a 50 minted bar according to Engelhard. It's a very, very, very rare tier 1 bar, extremely rare. Okay, and as you can see down there in the item description, the bar highlights, it says available in a plastic bag, limited mintage of just 50 bars. So that's in line with the Series 1 bars. Now the Series 2 bar, which is what it's confusing, because they're saying that this is a Series 2 bar, yet they're showing a picture of a Series 1 bar, and they're in the description they're quoting the mintage of 50 bars, which is the mintage of the Series 1 bar. The Series 2 bar is a mintage of 1,000 bars, and the Series 2 bar is also extremely difficult to come by, and when it sells at a crazy premium, but you know, it's much less rare than the Series 1 bar. So this is a very, very confusing thing. On the SPS website, you know, if this was brought to our attention, which it's happened before. Honestly, it happened for us, honestly, for a 100-ounce bar. There was a 100-ounce bar that we had on the website, it's still on the website actually, that one of our community members, who's also got a channel, brought to my attention that it was actually a much rarer bar than I had realized. I had it listed on the site for about $3,500 because it was quite a cool bar, honestly. It's quite an early series Engelhard 100-ounce bar. And after he brought it to my attention that it's a very, very low mintage tier 1 bar, I couldn't believe it. It's a one-of-a-kind bar. Like, I could not believe it. So I had to kind of adjust the pricing on that, because now that's a bar that I really, quite frankly, don't want to even let go, right? Somebody wants it, they can grab it. It is on the website, but yeah, that's a very, very rare bar. So just like this bar right here is a very, very rare bar. So there's a big difference, right? If you were buying this bar, you would want to know, is this a Series 1 or is this a Series 2? When you look at the picture, you'll assume that, yeah, this is a Series 1 bar though, actually, and they just probably made a typo in the listing and called it a Series 2 bar. Because two things are checking off as a Series 1, the picture and the description. The title, however, they're marking it as a Series 2 bar. So I'm not sure. If you were to buy this, I'm not sure what you would expect to see, right? I don't know. So gold, something we're trying to move a little bit kind of further away from. Silver, maybe something we're trying to move a little bit closer to. SPS exclusives, something we're trying to expand a little bit on. So this is the bar that you see, right? So let's go ahead and see what it is that they would actually provide for a listing like that, because that's not an accurate or very good listing in my opinion. Now this is a little ticket that we give out to all of our customers on the Silver Bar Stacker website, and that's for your first time. If you've never made a purchase on the website before, then you can use SBSITE 2023 at your checkout for one order, and you'll get 10% off. Now that's the same percentage off that our silver tier subscribers get on their purchases. So you scan that QR code if you're not on your phone already, and that'll take you to our social media pages, or you can just go to silverbarstacker.com, and that coupon code can then be used for 10% off. And it, like I said, if you are a subscriber, then you know, whether you're a copper, silver, or gold tier subscriber, you would get already 5, 10, or 15% off on every purchase. Now, the way that our subscriptions work is that as new people join the subscriptions, the monthly price kind of goes up in a tiered way. So I would say we have more gold tier subscribers than we have silver and copper tier subscribers right now, and because of that, our gold tier subscription price has moved up from, it used to be like $15 a month, and now, because multiple people have joined, now it's moved up to I believe it's $50 a month now. I believe it's $50 a month. So I would say that now the value proposition of the gold tier subscription has kind of fallen down in comparison to the silver and the copper tier subscription, because while you get less percentage off on the copper and the silver tier subscription, you also pay less per month, and you pay proportionally much less actually, because we have fewer copper and silver tier subscribers, and so the monthly price has not gone up as quickly, right? We're at $50 a month now when we used to be at $15 a month for the gold tier subscribers, because we at capacity. I cannot only accommodate a 15% blanket discount off of everything on the store to a limited number of people, right? Otherwise I would literally go bankrupt, because I don't even mark everything on the website up 15%. You know, you get what I'm saying? So like I lose money on certain items. Like these items, when we sell through them to our gold tier subscriber who has bought all of them, basically, we lost money on every single sale. So that's just the nature of the beast. It's part of, you know, at the same time we get the $50 a month fee, but he gets way more of a $50 a month benefit. So so the subscriptions, like any subscription, only makes sense if you use it, right? So, or if you just want to support, then that's very nice of you. But if my camera is just going to keep being blurry, then I don't know what to do. I guess it's time to do the unboxing is really what that means. So, because we were doing everything on a gold theme, that's why I thought it would be only fitting to do our massive unboxing of a gold standard bar. And it would be really nice if the blur would stay off now. Alright, let's go ahead and see what we got. And let's see if we got a 1000 minted bar or if we got a 5000 minted bar. I really don't know, so we'll find out together. Very nicely packed. Double wrapped. As we expected from order to start. Got some more bars here. Some pound bars. Let's do what we came here for. We've got ourselves a Series 1 bar, my friends. I'm very, very thankful that this is a Series 1 bar. This is not a Series 2 bar. So it was a typo on the title, not the description, and not in the pictures. I got the exact bar pictured, actually. And that's what I was expecting, because I didn't expect them to have 2 of these 50 minted 100-ounce bars. So it feels great to hold in the hand. And you know, something about this bar that's very cool is that it really reminds me of some of the more common extruded bars. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean. Check that out. So I like these machine finish bars for sure. And as you can see, this is a very similar style, right? Very similar style of 100-ounce bar. Check out this amazing serial number, P717177. So this is just a nice little chunk of extruded metal. Beautiful, beautiful bars. I was talking to my local coin shop. They usually have Engelhard and Johnson Med, the 100-ounce bars in stock. So I'm always usually able to just ask them, like, hey, can I just see them? Can I see what kinds you have? And so that's always very, very nice to be able to do. The owner of that shop, she's kind of the VP, she was basically telling me that like she prefers the more extruded bars. Now me, I'm a little bit different. With this being an exception, this is definitely my new favorite 100-ounce bar that I possess, without a doubt, I would say. I've got a couple pretty cool 100-ounce bars, but this I would say is my new 100% my new favorite 100-ounce bar. You got a 50 minted bar, Engelhard bar right here. It's very, very difficult to find this bar in the flesh, so I'm very, very blessed to be able to have it. And it's an extremely clean looking bar. It's in pristine condition. Look at this. And I'm very happy to have been able to get it from a nice reputable dealer, despite them kind of messing up the listing description slightly. I'm very, very pleased with my purchase because it's exactly what I was expecting. All right, look at that. I've got a similar bar like this. Now this bar, you'll see, it doesn't have the same sort of cut. And this one's got a different cut. I've got another bar that's got a similar sort of cut like that. Another Engelhard bar. But I really like how they cut these little bars. Sometimes they'll have nice patterns like this on the edge. And sometimes they won't. You see that? So this example, one side has it, one side doesn't. It's very cool. These are a very unique type of 100-ounce bar that you can collect and stack. Now, your 100-ounce bars, they're not always going to carry huge premiums either. A lot of times you're going to be able to get these bars, and sometimes you might even be able to get rarer bars at a nice premium, without the premium, They're much less liquid, these 100-ounce bars. So I'm very, very excited to have been able to pick up this nice bar. Okay. As always, we're going to be moving the party over to Whatnot. It's been an extremely long show today. I guess what I wanted to say before I let you go, since it's only been 55 minutes, so why don't we round this up to an hour? One thing I wanted to say is that my local coin shop, the VP lady, she kind of prefers these more extruded bars, and I can see why. They've got a much cleaner look to them. But I would say, by and large, for me, I like a nice poured bar, right? I mean, look at that. Look at the character on these. Sometimes they just have their own uniqueness. You just got so many variations to choose from. And that's why I like to stack 100-ounce bars. Cheers.